Hopefully I did that correct. Let's let everybody in. Everybody's in. Oh, good. Okay. All right. Welcome. I see everybody coming in, trying to stream this thing. How was everybody's Thanksgiving? What did y'all do? And did anybody have a good Thanksgiving? Hanging out with family? Anybody here eat too much? Great. Okay, good. Yeah. So we drove from Tallahassee to Houston. My mother lives in Houston, the Houston area. And we spent time at my mother's house. And it was just me and my husband and Lillian, and then my mom and my stepdad. So it was like super small. And I don't eat meat, so I didn't have any turkey. And so she only bought like a breast. That's it. Like, so she had a breast, so like everybody else could eat some turkey. And they still didn't even finish it. And I just ate all the sides. That's all I do, is I just kind of eat the sides. And yeah, we just hung out and put the tree up at my mother's house and played games and stuff. We played Yahtzee. That's my mom's game. My mom loves to play Yahtzee. That's her game. So we played some Yahtzee, decorated some Christmas cookies, and had some turkey, and just kind of hung out and drove. It took us like 12 hours to drive there, 12 hours to drive back. And so it was a long drive, but I don't really mind actually the driving. Y'all know I used to live in an RV and travel around, so we don't really mind the driving at all. Like on the way there and back, I'm always like listening to books or like doing a course or something, so it gives me time to actually do stuff. So, but yeah, so I'm breaking up bad. Okay, good. Okay. So everybody should hear me, right? I just want to make sure everybody's hearing me. I think I got my microphone on. Okay, good, great. Okay. All right, well, welcome. We're back. And I know a lot of you bought the course for the Black Friday sale. We had the course on sale for 75% off. And so a lot of you guys bought it, and I'm looking forward to working with you. And when you buy the course, for everybody that bought the course, you get a free strategy session with me. So make sure that you book those with me, so that we can, now you can use that for like deal analysis, or you can use that to just get started if you want me to coach you, whatever you need help with. So, but just make sure that you keep that link so that you can spend some time with me. And then I can get you started, or I can run deal analysis. I get like email. I just got an email right before this that some like random person like emailed me a deal and was like, "Is this a good deal?" And I'm just like, I just write back and say, honestly, I can't just look at a deal and tell you if it's a good deal or not. Like, I need to be able to run deal analysis. I have to have all of the numbers, so you're more than welcome to set up a consult if you want. Or you can buy the course and, go through that and learn how to run deal analysis yourself. That's kind of what I wrote her. And I never heard back, of course. But so that's what we're going to do today, is we're going to run deal analysis. We're going to talk about running the deal analysis, and then all the ways that you can finance deals. Okay, so I have a deal here. One of my virtual assistants. So you guys all know, or hopefully if you don't know, I have 13 virtual assistants that work for me, and they do acquisitions, and I basically find facilities for students inside the coaching program. You can actually hire, one of my virtual assistants to find a facility for you and do all the work. And so I'm going to go over one of the deals that one of my students found. So we have a student. Let me see if one of my students is here, the one that we're going to go over. I don't see it, right? But we have a student that lives in Las Vegas, and she wants to buy something like on the west side, right? So on the west coast, she wants to be either in Utah or Nevada. That's kind of where she wants to be. And so one of our virtual assistants is doing a fantastic job of like calling every storage facility in Nevada and Utah and seeing if anybody wants to sell within her parameters, right? And everybody has different parameters. We all have, we all have money or don't have money. We all have, different risk levels and things like that. And what we're learning is that Nevada and Utah, I don't know why. Y'all tell me the answer to this, because I have no idea why. Why does the West Coast think that like everything should be like way more expensive? I don't know, I feel like you can get such good deals like on the east side of the country or maybe the central side, but like when you start getting over to the west side, everything just gets so expensive. And the truth is they don't really make any more money than anybody else. It's just like, but everything's just so expensive. So I'm always been running numbers, and I'm thinking how, like, with the thought that with the idea of what your price is as a seller, how would anybody, how does anybody make money? So finding a really good deal on the west side is very, very difficult. And yeah. Kevin says he's in Utah. So we're calling in Utah. We're calling in Nevada. Nevada, the funniest thing is that Nevada, actually, you guys tell me, how many storage facilities are there in the state of Nevada, right? If you guys, you can Google it if you want to, but there's really not a lot of storage facilities in the state of Nevada, right? So, my virtual assistants, I tell them, you can't start calling owners until you have a list of 300 storage facilities. And so Christian is my virtual assistant that was calling in Nevada. And we only found there's only 450 storage facilities in the state of Nevada. So there's really not a lot. And Nevada's just like a whole bunch of nothing anyways, right? Except for in the way north and in the south. But there's only 400, and out of those 450, probably I would say not half, but I would say a little, like maybe a quarter. Yeah, a quarter of them would be, primary market, right? Because Nevada obviously is like Vegas, and we don't look at all in Vegas. Vegas is primary market. Vegas is like way too expensive, So and we don't look in like Reno, so we're looking like out in the smaller tertiary markets is what we're doing. That's what Christian's doing. And so he came across this property, and I wanted to show it to you guys and kind of run through how we found it and how we funded it, or how we made offers and we were going to fund it if we purchased it. Okay. And then you guys can walk through the steps with me. So yeah, so let's go ahead and go through that property now. And what I'm gonna do is just share my screen, and we'll pull the information up. And remember, I told you that Christian just makes, builds a list, and then he starts to call, and he's looking at his parameters are secondary and tertiary markets. That's where we look for our facilities. And then we just, and we do a lot of virtually driving for storage. All right, so virtually driving for storage, and then just seeing if there's any facilities that are not on Google Maps. Obviously, we call on Google Maps as well too, but we look for facilities that are not on Google Maps. So let's try to look at this one that he found, and I want to go through the whole process of what we did, and then you guys can give me your opinion on what the offer should be. Now, we already put an offer in, it got rejected. Because all facility owners think their facilities are worth way more. But you guys tell me if you would have offered more or what you guys think. So let me pull this up, and we're going to get into let's see, we'll get into Pipedrive here. And okay, it's Route 89 Storage is the facility. We use Pipedrive to manage all of our leads. And let's see. So let me pull up, and then I'm going to show you kind of our process as well too. So this is just our lead is in Pipedrive, and all the information you can see is on the left here. But I'm going to pull up our executive summary I'll pull up the Google Drive folder, and then I'm going to also pull up the DIL analyzer. I think that's it, right? Yeah, this is it. Okay. Let me get that all ready for y'all. So we have it ready. Okay. Yeah, so it's Route 89 storage. I can't remember where it's at because I have like way too many storage facilities in my head. But now the process for us is to, once we find a facility, right, to build a Google Drive folder, and then inside the Google Drive folder is where we put all the information that we can possibly get, not only from the owner, but also, about the facility, and just put it into Google Drive. Okay. And so you can see here that we have inside the folder, we've got regrid. I'll show you what regrid is. Regrid is where you can find like boundaries and things like this. This is public data on the property. If nobody's heard of regrid before, it's completely free to use regrid for now they'll upgrade you. They'll try to upgrade you, but like what you really need, most of it is going to be free. And then we have pictures of the facility. We have the offer letter. We have maps of the facility, maps of where it's located, the executive summary, demographics, the DIL analyzer, county info, and competition. Okay, so this is really what our folder looks like. This is everything that we need in order to make a decision on whether or not the deal is a good deal. Okay, so like I told you, I just got the email from somebody, some random person I didn't even know, and they just sent me over a facility and said, is this a good deal? Which happens all the time. It's kind of frustrating, actually. But the truth of the matter is, I can't just look at a deal and figure out if it's a good deal. You have to actually run commercial deal analysis. Okay, now I'm going to show you how to do that. And commercial deal analysis means all of this right here. All of this, right? What are the demographics, right? What does the information, what does the competition look like? What does the property report card look like? What are they, what are they paying in taxes? What does the land look like? This kind of stuff. You have to look at like so many different things. So I can't just, you can't, just know. I just don't know if it's a good deal or not. All right. You have to do deal analysis. Okay, good. So good. So let me get in here and kind of show you what it looks like, this deal here. Now, the way that I work with my virtual assistants is they put together what's called an executive summary, and I'm going to go over that here in just a minute. But I wanted to show you regrid here and just kind of show you what it looks like. And they just do like snapshots is what they do of regrid. All right, so here is the facility. I don't know if it's this facility. I can't remember. Yeah, I think, yeah, this is it. It's this facility, or no, or maybe it's this facility. Let's see. I can't remember. It's like, oh yeah, it's this facility. Okay, so it's this facility right here. And so he took a snapshot and he let me know that this facility right here is competition. And obviously in competition, there's a lot of space for them to grow. Whereas on this one, you can see that there's no space to grow. Okay, so that's just number one, right? Just that's why it's so important to get regrid, and see the boundaries, see where, how big the space is, so you can see that this is how big it is. And okay, so there's that. And then let's do pictures of it. Let's take a look at this thing. Okay, so this is what it looks like. You can see Route 89 storage. And then it's all fenced in. There's a gate here. It looks like it's open. It's not electronic, right? So he probably comes over and opens it and then closes it at night. Or he never closes it. Who knows? There's like some little room. There's some little building. Maybe this is an office or something here. I'm not sure. So pictures, tell a lot, right? So these probably are maybe 5x10s on the end, I'm guessing. These are, these look like little 5x10s. We can look at the DIL analyzer and look at the numbers. This is what it looks like. Okay. There's a little opening right here as well. You can walk in. We have that too a lot on our facilities. Like you'll have a gate you have a gate that kind of like move, you can open and close with, the keypad. And then we also have like this kind of a gate as well too, where you can, oh no, this is part of the gate where you can open and close. Okay, so you actually, it looks like you can roll this side as well too. On some of our facilities too, we have actual like gates where you can open the door and close it, just in case somebody gets like locked in or something like this, because every once in a while, like the gate will break and then somebody's like stuck in there or something, so that has happened before. All right, so it looks like there's a gate over here opening, and then there's another opening. There's a couple more openings over here, but that's really what it looks like right there. Okay. So pictures, and then we'll look at the maps. Now the map is like, where in the state is it located? So now I can see that here's in Provo. Provo obviously is like a super expensive area. And this is where this is at. I can't tell is it Gunnison, or if anybody knows, y'all can put it in the chat. But this area right here, so it's kind of south. So I don't, y'all tell me, is this primary market, secondary, tertiary market? What do you guys think about this? Because I know that like Provo is like super primary area. And put into the chat what you think. But yeah, so Gunnison is the name of the town. Here's Gunnison, little tiny town. And there's Centerfield right here. So I guess there's like kind of two towns right next to each other. If anybody knows any information about this, let us know. And then here it is inside. So here's our facility here, and then here's the competition right here. Okay. And the demographics. So this is a 5-year, in 5-year periods, vintage 2020. Latitude and longitude. Here's the demographics. Okay, here you could see that Centerfield has 1,335 people in it. It looks like it's a declining population. It's declining at -0.22 annually, and it's decreased by 0.45%, right? Which is the population is 1,341, right? Now you can see we also put the 3, 5, and 10-mile radius. So it's 5,000 within a 3-mile radius. There's 5,000 people. In a 5-mile radius, there's 5,000, and in a 10-mile radius, there's like 7,400 or something like this. So would you consider this primary, secondary, or tertiary market, especially in, especially, he's just cutting all this out for us, in terms of like where it's located next to Provo. And let me see. Yeah, tertiary. Ido says tertiary, exactly. And okay, let's see what else. And then, okay, so we got demographics, and also it's a declining market. It is a declining market of 0.22%. Is that a lot? I mean, for 1,300 people, I guess, losing a person is a lot, right? And here's the county information. I'll pull the DILA analyzer up in a bit. The county information. So this is just right off. This is like the property report card. So they're going in and just pulling this off of the county, the county website. This is the address. And then this is like the tax, the taxes, what they're paying and stuff. So they're paying on, the value is $312,000. That's reasonable to me. Taxes in 21 and 22, they paid 3,600, and 2021 they paid like almost 3,900. So taxes went down. All right, so it's important to just look at all this. And this is just more data from like the county websites that he could find on the DIL. Okay. Okay, so Sanpete County is what he did. He just went in. And then here's the actual acreage. Okay, it's 0.8 acres. Because I asked them how much acreage do they actually hand, but you can see this right here. 0.8. I mean, there's no place to grow anything here, or to grow or to add on. Okay, so it's a small, it's a very good first-time facility. It really is to start out. I mean, and just learn what you're doing and stuff. This is a good facility. Competition, Solar Light Storage, and Busy Bee are the only two facilities in the area. So Solar Light is this one. Okay, it looks like maybe they have room to add on if they needed to and stuff. Looks like it's pretty big. Let's see, this is Solar Light. Oh yeah, so this is the big parcel right here. So he could add some more if he needed to. Okay, I like to look at all the competition. So I have them, send this out. This is the one that's right across from us that has that room to add on. So the fence is here, it's all gravel. This is what it looks like. Maybe there's a little office here. These are all 5x10s, right? Busy Bee is what this one's called. You can see, yeah, so that's it. Okay, so those are the two facilities in town. All right, so that is really all the data. And then what they do is they create what's called an executive summary. They put everything together into one page. And this is really used to give to the students. Actually, it's really for me because I want to be able to just open up the folder and look at one thing, look at everything really quick. And then I can get a good idea of the deal, just like instead of having to open up every single one of those folders. And so they create the executive summary. Now, if we pass it on to the student, then obviously this is for the student. And then if the student needs to raise money, then this is for the investor or the bank. This is really kind of like it's an executive summary about the deal, And if you're going to go to a bank, I mean, they're asking you for a business plan, executive summary. I mean, they're asking you for marketing plan, management plan. That's what they're asking you for. So this will be part of that is what it would be. Okay. And this is how Christian puts his together. And all my virtual assistants are completely different in how they do it. But I can see property. You can see the property taxes, insurance, monthly utilities, vacancy, monthly rate, and then asking price not mentioned. Okay, and then here's the unit mix. So this is all the information that we ask from the owner. This is what we ask them. The total number of units, there's 66, rentable square feet, 9620. So I mean, it's almost 10,000 square feet. I mean, that's a pretty good size facility, It's on 0.74 acres. Okay, this is what it looks like. He's got pictures. He got all the pictures and put them in here. He's got all the regrid, the map views. He's got the demographics. He's got the regrid information. And he's got the acreage size. And then he's got all the county information, the competition, the unit mixes. This is from the deal analyzer, what they're charging. And you could see that he's charging, Route 89 is charging $30, $40, $50, $65, $90, $125, $95. So he's got a whole bunch of different sizes. And then we just compare those sizes to what the two facilities are. So they're at 30, 35, 50, 55, 65, 70, right? And then 90 and 125. So they're all basically at the same price. You can see that, right? By looking at the competition. So the question is, can you raise rates when you see something like this, right? Now I do take into factor that, every 9 months, 6 to 9 months, you're raising the rates by 5%. Right. So this is like, gone are the days where you wait 1 year to raise rates. You should be really we evaluate the competition every quarter. And then we just decide on whether or not going to be raising or lowering rates based on, our vacancy, our economic and physical vacancy, and the competition and what they're charging. Right. So, you really need to be getting into the habit as a storage facility owner, looking at your numbers looking at your numbers in competition every quarter. But typically you're raising rates on average every 6 to 9 months. I mean, I said we typically are around every 9 months. Now during the COVID time, obviously we raised rates several times, but on average, it's really maybe every 9 months is what it is. Okay. You don't want to be 6 months because, then you just piss people off, especially out in the country and stuff like this, but you have to raise rates, you've got to raise rates. Now, I don't know when their rates seem pretty low, honestly, but a 10x10 is only 55 and a 10 by 20. And that's why I don't understand when you look at the numbers and run the deal analysis and you put the offer in, and then they come back and say like, oh, you're way off. I mean, in their mind, they think that the value is more expensive, but the truth is really commercial real estate is based on income. It's based on income, so what you're charging is really what values your property. So I wish a lot more owners would understand that. Now, we try to educate the owners. I mean, that's really our job, is to educate the owners on, what their property's worth. Okay. So that's the executive summary. Okay. And then, so now what I do is, I'm going to go to the deal analyzer. I'm going to share that and we'll just look at the numbers. Okay. And let's see if we have any questions before I do that. As a new owner of a facility, do you make any effort to personally meet and talk to owners or competitors? Yeah, I mean, we actually go and we actually try to rent a unit at every single one of the facilities. And so, like, for instance, we just closed on a facility like maybe 2 weeks ago, right before Thanksgiving, 2 or 3 weeks ago. And for our due diligence, my husband, there was 4 facilities within less than a mile around us. So he went to every single one of them and he tried to, they all had like offices and stuff. And so he tried to rent from them and try to get prices and stuff. And that's how we got really the true price. Because on the website, sometimes they say, different prices than what they're giving you if you go in and stuff like this too. Yeah, so we do try to get to know the competition. Now, one of my students too, he was doing a lease up. So he bought a facility that was completely brand new, and then he had to lease it up. And so he went to all the competitors and he introduced himself and he said, look, he's like, I need to lease my facility up. So I'm willing to pay you for referral fees if you will send them to me. I will pay you whatever you send me, I'll give you some money for. And he ended up getting a lot of referrals that way. And he paid a lot of the owners in the area for their wait list, essentially. So I thought that was a pretty good tip. Let me see. Why doesn't Busy Bee offer parking spaces? Yeah, maybe it's just not called for in the market, or maybe he's tried and it's like nobody wants to pay. I mean, it looks like there's kind of a lot of land out there, right? I mean, it's a little tiny area, so maybe parking just doesn't fit. But I don't know. I didn't ask him. Okay, good. And then somebody asked, what's the difference between Regrid and Crexi? You have to have both? Oh, yeah. So actually, we use Regrid for like my virtual assistants because Regrid is free. So they just go on, they'll just quickly go on to Regrid and they can find the property information. But Crexi we use for skip tracing. And we also use it to compare our lists and get a list of all of the facilities in an area that have been bought or sold since the 1960s and stuff like that. We look at history is what we look at. And we actually use Crexi for competition as well. So we don't just use Crexi for property information. You can get that for free anywhere. We use it for search engine is what we use it for. Okay, all right. So you can see the deal analyzer here. So, okay. So now you can see that we came up with an offer of 300,000. I'm going to show you the numbers here in just a minute. But he's making 48,686. It's 66 units and the total square feet is 9,620. We ran the numbers for this facility at an 8 cap. All right. Now, what cap rate would you value it at? I mean, would you pay more than an 8 cap? It's a town of 1,300 people, and within a 10-mile radius, there's only 7,000. So for me, that market calls for an 8 cap. Okay, so that's what we ran the numbers at. And essentially, I just tell my virtual assistants, leave it at, it's a 7 cap for a secondary market and an 8 cap for a tertiary market. Your job is to find owners that will sell you their facility for those 2 cap rates. All right. So what that means is that it's just a numbers game. All right. You just have to talk to a lot of owners in order to find somebody that will sell at those cap rates. And of course, over the course of the last year, it was really hard to find people that would sell at those cap rates up until just like maybe the last couple of months. All right. So now students are really trying to, really finding 7 and 8 caps. Now in Utah and Nevada, it's really hard. And the West Coast is really, really hard, but we just found one guy that was like, is very reasonable on his price actually. And so we put an offer in on that one, and we're waiting to hear back on it. But this one, he came back and he said, we're like way off. We're like totally way off. All right, is what he said. But okay, so you can see that he's full, right? He's at 8%. And so we didn't put any, any CapEx or anything, and there's not really anything that needs to get done. And it's not going to cost a lot of money to close this. Property taxes are $3,000. We saw that. Utilities are really low. Insurance is $2,500. And then we have our property maintenance and staffing. Property maintenance is just the boots on the ground person. And then like any type of maintenance that needs to get done on the gates or something like that. And then staffing is like the person that answers the phone every single month, right? Now you may be the person that answers the phone every single month. So you would just put like, 0 on this, or, a couple hundred, maybe a couple $100 or something. But we have somebody that answers our phone, and our students, especially this student, they would have somebody answering the phone because they have a full-time job. So you have to make sure you calculate that if you need those expenses, right? Now, you don't want to go off of the owner's expenses. You want to go off of your expenses, right? I mean, a lot of people are just so concerned about what the owner is spending. But the truth is that it's really what you're spending is what you should be looking at. What is it going to cost you to run the facility? Right? This is our numbers. We run our numbers at 38%. Which is really high, honestly, but just gives us a buffer, it gives us that buffer. A lot of students will lower the rate, say, okay, this is a small facility and I think I can run it for a little bit less, but like us personally, we have, overhead and stuff. So we run our numbers at 38%. And then there's the software plus the merchant fees, the marketing, and then a mortgage if you had a mortgage. And we'll get into that here in just a second. And so as you can see, just by putting the info into this page putting your inputs in on the info page, if you bought it at $300,000, you would be at a 1.38 DSR, right? And, and that's what you want to be. You want to be at a 1.3 if you're going to get bank financing. Right. And so that's one of the things that we tell our students, and we tell the owners is like, look, you want us to get finance? Guess what? All banks are asking for more money down, and there's like super high interest rate. So in order for the numbers to work, that's the number. This is the number that's going to work based on the information that you gave us. And so, some people are just like, they're just not, they don't want to lower their price that low just to compensate for like interest rates and things like that. But I mean, that's just how the world is right now. It's like super high interest rates. You got to compensate for that. Now on the Still Analyzer, you can see that there are 4 different ways to run numbers. Actually, there's 5. There's the cash offer, there's 3 owner financing offers, and then there's a bank or private financing offer. And we'll get into that in just a minute, but on the Still Analyzer, we can toggle, if I was going to pay cash, what does the numbers look like versus if we were going to do owner financing. We always make owner financing offers just because, we want to educate the owner on, all the different options that are out there for them. All right. Okay. So, and let me see. So now the financing inputs are where you're going to run the numbers and try to get the numbers to be at a 10% cash on cash return or higher. So we are always like, essentially we need, like for bank financing, we need a 1.3 DSR, and we need like 10% cash on cash return. And that for us is like a good deal. Okay. Now for you could figure out what your good deal is, but for us, that's kind of what we look at. All right. So let's go back to the bank financing and put it, now whatever one that you put it, whatever, excuse me, whatever one of these that you put it on is the numbers, is what the number's going to come out to. But yeah, so we came up with, as you can see, with all this, with all those inputs on the first tab, $300,000 is a 10%, or sorry, it's a 9.49% cash on cash return. All right, 9.49%. It's almost close to 10%, right? So we're shooting for 10% is what we're doing. Now you could change your cap rate. You could change your cash on cash to be whatever number that you want here. Now you could say, no, I want 20% cash on cash return. And it's like, okay, that'll change the numbers. If I put 20% here, then that would, that would change all the numbers, change our outputs and things like that. But we'll just keep it here at the 10% and then we'll keep moving forward. So this is, and then we also, so the way that I run my numbers, just so everybody kind of has an idea, is we start with the cash on cash return and try to get as close to 10% as we can. And then we move over to the bank financing and we're running our numbers, as you can see, at 25% down and 7% interest. All right, 25% down and 7% interest, a 10-year balloon amortized over 20 years. Okay. And so, and that's kind of how we come up with our bank financing terms. And that can, as you can see, at 300,000, you're getting a 10% cash on cash return with these. Now you may get an SBA loan, right? We could always get an SBA loan and put it at 15%. Now, if you don't put, as you can see, it goes red because, you're not, it goes red. So, but basically this down payment is like super important. How much money can you put down? And if you can only put 15% down, that means you just got to get an SBA loan. And then, you need to find a lender that will lend on that based on these terms. Okay. And so you could see, and then you'll just say like, okay, now when I close on my facility, what is my interest rate going to be? Is it going to be 7%? I don't know. If I'm going to close on this, let's say the SBA takes forever to close too. It takes like 120 days. So like, if I'm going to close on this in like 4 months, are we still going to be at 7%? Or do you think we're going to be at 8%? Right. And so you would run the numbers at that. So you want to make sure that you're always thinking ahead to what the interest rate's going to be, not now, but when you close. Now, like if you have experience and you want to get an SBA loan, they could probably do 10%. I could go and get an SBA loan with 10% down. And, and then my interest rate would be good as well too, because I have experience. But like, if you don't have any experience, then run your numbers for an SBA loan at 15% and a conventional loan at 25%. Right. And it may be 8% for, a conventional loan because banks are just being ultra conservative right now. So it's somewhere between 7 and 8. Maybe it's at 6.5, in 4 months, maybe like, the Fed pivots and like, everything looks great. But I would kind of be as conservative as possible for right now. Okay. And then as you can see here, and so what we try to do is what we offered for the owner financing terms. See, the bank financing terms, you have to get that 1.33 DSR. Now, some banks are okay with maybe 1.2, but you want to get between 1.2 to 1.3 DSR is really what you want to get if you're doing the bank financing, right? Owner financing is different. Who cares about the DSR, right? So basically a lot of times we'll entice the owner with higher offers for owner financing. So you can see here we came in at 350,000 and we did 10, 15 and 20% down and we always do less interest rate, more money down, more interest rate, less money down. That's kind of how we do it. And obviously this is in red. So you can see that the mortgage must be less than $2,000 a month. The actual cash on cash is 12%. So at $350,000, your cash on cash is a little bit over 10%, right? If you can do. So that's why we kind of pushed it. We pushed the numbers a little bit is what we did. Okay, so, and that's how we come up with the owner finance terms. Our typical terms are 10-year, or 10-year balloons amortized over 20 years, right? And then we can show the owner that we're going to be coming up with, like, you know, 30, 50, $70,000 down payment. And then they'll get a monthly payment of, you know, anywhere from $1,700 to $2,000 a month, depending on what they do. And these are always negotiable. And we put that into the offer letter as well, too. Like, we're just showing you like some terms here. And, you know, we could just run any numbers, really. There's a million different ways to run this. Now, the question is, would you pay more for this deal? Because the owner is saying that this is like far from what the offer should be, that the offer is, you know, too low, way too low, and we're way off. All right. So, you know, the question is, what would we offer this? You know, we'll dig into that a little bit deeper on the cash flow section. So we have really kind of what your net income is going to be here. And then at the top, we have like what the owner is going to, get, right? So the net amount to the owner, basically what we're showing. This section right here is what comes onto the magic letter. Right, so we're showing the purchase price, the monthly payment, the interest rate, the term of the loan, the down payment, the total interest paid, and then the net to the owner, which is basically the purchase price plus the interest. All right, so we're showing that to the owner in our offer letter. And then the valuation is basically what's your gross monthly income minus your operating expenses, which equals your NOI, right? Minus your mortgage payments. And that comes out to your net monthly income, which is your cash on cash return. So that's what we're looking at here. So as you can see, at 300,000 to 350,000, you know, everything is in the green, and we like green, right? So obviously on the cash, it's a little bit less than 10%, but for the most part, that's why we put the offer in at $300,000 or $350,000, is because it's over 10% cash on cash return. Now we could maybe go up on this, right? Really based on kind of what the competition is doing and the prices and holding on to this and the banks and things like that. But that's what we look at. That's what the offer is. Now, here is where we put the unit mix in. You can see that. You can see that he's got the 6x10s, the 7x10s, 10x10s, 10x15s, 10x20s, 10x30s, and 12x20s. All right, so you can see this is basically what his facility looks like, and this is what he's charging. His current rate right now, okay, is at 45 cents, right? And then just notice that we're putting also in the competition's rates for the same exact units. So on the competition tab, we put Busy Bee and Solar Light in. And then this tab right here, it just basically auto populates to this tab. And then this is here where we have, this is Route 39. This is the prices for all the units that they have. Now, obviously, Busy Bee does not have 7x10s or 10x30s or 12x20s, so we can't compare those, right? So we just leave those here, right? We leave those here. And then the other ones we compare and get the average. And so because of that, you can see the average price per square foot is right here, and the average unit is right here. These numbers right here auto populate back into our unit mix tab. And so you can see that the competition is at 45 cents a square foot, and we are also at 45 cents a square foot. So there's really no room to add, increase prices, right? And the truth of the matter is that, most people, if they're going to be buying a facility, you want to either increase the units or add units or both, right? And with this facility, you cannot add units and you cannot increase the price, right? The price per square foot. You can't do it because, maybe over time you can increase it by a couple bucks or whatever, but ultimately there's no instant, way to value out a property. So anyway, so that's kind of why on the info tab you see 46 and 46 is because right here, you can't add the units, can't add any square feet, can't increase the price, right? So essentially it's valued at $360,000. That's the value of this property right now. right? So, so that's it. If you could increase, add units, you could come in and right here and say, okay, I'm going to add like, right here, I'm going to add 20 by 10s, and I'm going to add like, 20 of those. Like if I was busy bee, I could calculate, how many units I could add and then put that here and it would auto populate. You could also change the rate if you wanted to change the rate. Say, look, I'm going to add like, 20 10 by 20s, and I'm going to change this to $100. Right. And if we did that, so we could say like 20 of these, and we're going to change this to $100. All right. So you can see here that at the bottom, you could see there's 66 units, 9620 square feet. If he was full, he'd be making about $43.60 a month. Competition's at $43.55, so we're right at the same price. We're going to add 20 units to make a total of 86 units. Once we increase those rates, the price is going to go from $43.60 to $64.95, and the square foot's going to go to $13,620. All right. And right here, this section too, we could put in, of all these, which ones are actually filled. This is really like, this is economic occupancy. Like this is who is paying, and which ones are filled. So you could really look at this if you wanted to as well. All right, because there's a difference between physical occupancy and economic occupancy. So which ones are actually filled and which ones are actually paying. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of show you, that's how we're evaluating our deals. We came up with, as you can see, 300,000 for the offer, 350,000 for the owner financing. This is what our magic letter looks like. I call it the magic letter because a lot of times it works. Sometimes it doesn't though. And this right here is like essentially the letter directly to the owner, just saying this is what we came up with. And, here's our 4 offers. And, would you be interested in meeting with me and talking on Zoom about this? And, we are offering a cash offer at 90 days and we can close in 120 days. Right. And that actually pulls from this section right here. You could change the numbers if you want. If you wanted to do 60-day closed, and if you wanted to do, a 90-day or 90-day close and a 60-day due diligence, that would just populate and change right here. Okay, so that's our offer letter is what that is. So every single one of these tabs is really an important tab for you to do deal analysis and to really look at all the different type of funding options that you have, right? And you want to be able to look at your valuation, right? You want to be able to look at current as is, what is this property making? What is the NOI? What would I, after my mortgage, what would I make? Right. And then if it was not full and you were taking it to get it full, what would the potential be? Right. And so we can look at that as well too. And then the valuation, the after updates is really your opportunity. This is you adding those units and, increasing the rates. So you could see current, potential, and after updates. So valuation, current, potential, and after updates. And you could add property management fees. You could add your income, so this is kind of how we look at it. And you see the debt service ratio and what it looks like, and then you could change it to any one of the, if let's just say that we could do owner finance options, you'll see that now the debt service ratio is 0.4. And if you wanted to add more units or add any other income, you could do that as well. Okay. So overall, that is how we're using our deal analyzer, and that is the deal, and that's how we do deal analysis. And so I just wanted to show y'all that and let you guys know. Now, what do you guys think about this deal? Would you offer more? That is what I would like to know while I'm answering the questions. Okay. And yeah, so I'm going to answer some questions. And then also, just so everybody knows that anybody that bought the course, I offered for you to buy my deal analyzer as well too, but only to those that have access to the course and get my deal analyzer. It is an upcharge, just so everybody knows, but the The course was only $497, and you could upcharge to get this deal analyzer. So I want to let everybody know that that offer is still out. The Black Friday offer is still out. I think Ariel Lynn posted it. I'm only offering it to anybody that buys the course. That's it. I really don't want it out into the world to like everybody in the world just yet. All right. So anybody that buys the course has access to buying the deal analyzer. Okay. So what's the typical multiple of revenue for an offer? What's the typical multiple of revenue? I don't know what that means. So explain that a little bit more. Okay. So I have an idea. Okay. And what's the difference between the potential and after updates? So potential, so there's current, potential, and after updates. Current's like as is. Potential is if the property is not full. If it's like 50% or 75% full and you have to get it to 90%, then it would be from taking it from the 75% to the 90%, right? What do you have to do to just get it to be full, right? So the goal is you want to be 90 to 92% occupied. Okay. That's the difference. And okay. Let's see what else. Questions. Is the deal analyzer show the same deal analyzer comes forward? Yeah. So there's two different deal analyzers. There's the version 3.0, which is the one that like you get for free with the course, which is the one that everybody used up until I just released this new deal analyzer. The new deal analyzer is a little bit extra charge. All right, because it's like it was a lot of work and a lot of money to put that thing together, a lot of brain power for sure. So I don't really want to just give it away, but you can also just buy the course and not get the deal analyzer, and you'll still have another deal analyzer in there, and that deal analyzer works just as good. The only difference between the new deal analyzer and the old one is the owner financing options, right? You can now do owner financing offers in the new deal analyzer. Okay. Okay, what are the benefits of doing an SBA loan? SBA loves storage. You have a lower down payment, either 10 or 15%. Let's see what else is the benefit. And they also do new construction, love new construction, and they also do projection-based loans. So what that means is if you find a facility where you know for sure. So for instance, like we're syndicating a deal out right now. That's $2.5 million, but it's only worth it's 2.5 million. We're buying it. It's only worth $1.3 million, but we're buying it for $2.5 million. Right. But it's worth, after all we have to do is raise the rents. It's worth over $5 million. That is would be a projection-based loan. You have to convince the bank that you can just buy this, increase the rents, and then like make money. Okay, so then that's like a whole, like that's why I talk about the marketing plan, the business plan, management plan, all that kind of stuff. So you would, with the projection-based loan, you would give that to the bank. And so it's a lot more work to get the loan, but there are banks out there like SBA that will do that for you. Okay. Do your people who answer phones, your in-house employees? Okay, so we have 1,300 doors. All right, so we're vertically integrated, and so we manage everything ourselves. All right, because that's like the best way and the cheapest way to do everything. But there are like companies out there that just do they're like call centers, and they'll do like the phones for you as well too. A couple $100 a month, like typically $300, $400 a month, something like that. Okay. Crexi, if you are interested in Crexi, please email us at questions@stacyrossetti.com and let me introduce you to Grant, because Grant is my contact, and I personally, anybody that comes through me will get like $50 off. Typically it's $150 a month, and if you come through me, it's $100 a month. Okay, so make sure that you come through me. All right, is what I'm saying. So email us, and then Ariel Lynn or I will introduce you to Grant. Okay, and get you that special discount. Okay, good. Got enough for one or two more here. I apologize if you're answering this. Do you factor the depreciation when analyzing facilities? Yeah. So on like on our fund, we definitely are doing like cost seg and like bonus depreciation, accelerated depreciation and all this. Okay, because that's what our investors want. Okay, but for me personally, all of my personal facilities, we have not done any like bonus depreciation. We have not taken any bonus depreciation. Why? Because we are only holding our properties for 3 to 5 years. That's it. We do not hold on to our properties longer than that. And the reason why, honestly, is because you really don't need to. You can make just as much money in 5 years on a property than you can in like 15 or 20 years nowadays, right? Because there's so much appreciation, and I want to be able to just basically what we do is we flip facilities. We buy them, we stabilize them, we hold on to them for 3 to 5 years, and then we 1031 exchange them into something else, sell them and do that. Okay, now there's nothing wrong with buying and holding and just holding on to properties as well. You can totally do this. And I've just learned and saw from my students that you can make just as much money, not, maybe not just as much over the course 10 or 15 or 20 years, but you can make quite a bit of money by just 1031 exchanging out after 5 years. And I just don't want to take that cut on the back end. I don't want to pay all that money back. I want to I know how much money when I sell my property I'm going to make. And I like that. Yeah, Crexty has like all properties of the entire United States. Every property, the data for that property is in Crexty. It's right at your fingertips. I'm telling you, super powerful, super powerful. Highly recommend that you get Crexty. Okay. Okay, good. A couple of people have asked me about Canada, and I don't really specifically talk about Canada in my courses, but the truth is I really don't think it's much different than the United States. I mean, essentially there's primary, secondary, and tertiary markets. You're going to have to learn where those markets are. I teach going directly to the owner. So I don't have you looking on Crexty. I don't have you looking on, LoopNet or anything like that. You go directly to the owner, you get the information from the owner, and then you put it into the deal analyzer and you run the deal analysis. Okay. So that's how I teach it. And really, I think that strategy is like just a basic strategy. You need to learn how to find properties and run deal analysis. And then you need to know where to, how to purchase them and put all the different ways that you can purchase your facilities. And then on the back end, obviously management. That's all in the course, everything. It's the same concepts if it's going to be here or in Canada, same concepts. But maybe the prices are different. Maybe the cap rates are different. Markets are different. It's a different market. That's really kind of the difference. Okay. 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 Crazy. Yeah. California is crazy. Crexty is Crexty. Good. Everybody's doing Crexty. CREXI.com. Crexty.com. It'll be more expensive to go there than through us, but you can do that if you want. Going back to the example, and also I'm going to get him eventually. I'm going to get Grant to come on and do like a demo as well too. We're trying to work all that out right now. Going back to the example discussed, would the inability to raise prices and no room? Yes. So that's the question of the day before I jump off and go to my pitch is for the fund is that, would y'all pay more than this? Would y'all pay more? We offer $300,000 to $350,000. When anybody paid more than that, are you willing to pay more money? Are you willing to buy it at a different cap rate? We ran our numbers at an 8 cap. Maybe you'd be okay with going to a 7 cap. Maybe you'd be able to pay more. You're okay with paying more because it's the West Coast and maybe it's more expensive. The owner told us that we were like far apart on our offers. He's like, there's no need to talk anymore. You're wasting my time. We're way too far apart. And I'm thinking, what does he think this thing is valued at? I have no idea, but I wouldn't pay, I don't know, 400, 500,000. I wouldn't pay that much money for sure. I mean, it's making $48,000, so, but the thing is that it's at a 45 cent per square foot rate. I mean, if the opportunity was that it was because like the national average is 88 cents a square foot. for a 10 by 10. And yet they're at like 45 cents. So, and I don't understand, why they're not that high, but all three of the competitors are at the same price. Maybe everybody's just getting a really good deal. Maybe it's, maybe it's just super low income. Maybe everybody knows everybody in the city, so you can't be the bad guy, which happens quite often. So there's a lot of factors. Like, do you want to be the bad guy that comes in and says like, no, I'm raising my rates? And then of course they could just go to the competitors. I mean, so you just have to think about things like that, Like, we bought a facility where he was charging $20 for a 10 by 10. $20 a month is what they were charging. And he should have been charging $100 a month, because that's what the market calls for. And actually everybody in the area was charging $100, but him. He had had that facility for 15 years and he had never raised the rates. That's a good deal. So my personal opinion is that it's a numbers game, and you have to call, talk to owners, get out there, look at facilities, put offers in, and you have to just know that it's not going to take 1, 2, 5, or 10 times to find something. It's going to take 50 times or 100 times or 200 times to find a really good deal like that. Okay. All right. I'm going to have to hop off to my pitch. If anybody's interested in investing in the fund, it's called the Self-Storage Fund of America. You have to be an accredited investor. But very, very good way to make passive income. And I will see you there. It's stacyrossetti.com/fund. And I'll see you, I'll see you. Oh yeah. And don't forget to get my course. It's $497 right now. And that's going to be ending here in the next couple of days. Okay. All right. Take care.